In this video, we are going to discuss the case of evaluation of failure to thrive. What is failure to thrive? Failure to grow or to gain or maintain weight. The children seems very small or shorter than the children of similar age and sex. To evaluate the patient of failure to thrive, mainly this terminology is used for the children. First of all, we take history, and in the history, we check clinical symptoms like diarrhea, colic, vomiting, irritability, fatigue, or chronic cough. Then we take nutritional history. In this, we check the type of feeding, whether the children is breastfed or he fed on the formula milk or mixed, time of the start of the weaning, and feeding problems, and present diet. Next, we move on to developmental history. Developmental history is significant in the failure to thrive patient. Either it is either delayed, normal, or deteriorate. Past medical history, low birth weight. These children mostly are the low birth weight, prenatal and neonatal problems, recurrent infections, or chronic illness. Family history of failure to thrive or genetic disorder. Is there any socioeconomic or psychological issues? Then we move on to examination. In this, first of all, we generally observe the child. In this, we see that does the child look neglected, ill, or malnourished? How does the mother relate to the baby? Any dysmorphic features? Growth parameters, in which we check the weight, height, and from front occipital circumference or head circumference. And then on physical examination, look for the signs of chronic illnesses like pallor, murmur, or organomegaly. Investigations to perform are complete CBC, serum iron and total iron binding capacity, LFTs, urea, creatinine, and electrolyte, urine, DR, and CS, X-ray chest. Investigations are based on the clinical features, and following tests should be considered in most of the cases, but these can be modified according to the examination findings and history. And specific tests may be needed in some cases when indicated. And those specific tests include TB screening, in which ESR, chest X-ray, and MT is done. Celiac disease test, in which TTG and IgA testing is done. And screening for the cystic fibrosis, Delta 508. Here are some signs and symptoms of micronutrient deficiency when failure to thrive occurs due to the micronutrient deficiency. Then on eyes, we can see dry eyes, pale conjunctiva, bitote spots, which indicates the deficiency of vitamin A. In mouth, we can see angular stomatitis, cheilitis, glossitis, spongy bleeding gums, which indicates vitamin C deficiency, parotid enlargement, and Chauvistic sign, which shows hypocalcemia. In teeth, we can see enamel mottling and delayed eruption. And in skin, we can see perioral or perinatal skin lesions, zinc deficiency. And extremities, we can see Trostu sign, hypocalcemia की वजह से, and skeletal deformity due to the calcium, vitamin D, vitamin C deficiencies, like rickety or seborrheic, sclerotic rosary, and Harrison sulcus, and bowing of legs and knock knee. Here are some causes of failure to thrive and their clues. If the failure to thrive is due to the non-organic or environmental or psychosocial factors, this is the most common cause. In this, weight is usually affected first, then the height, and there may be feeding difficulties, disturbed maternal and infant bonding, maternal depression or psychiatric disorders may be present, child abuse or neglect may be affected. In endocrine disorders, we can see developmental delay in hypothyroidism and growth hormone deficiency, but it occurs very rarely. In intrauterine growth retardation, we can see low birth weight, and they may have features of torch infection, and there may be a genetic syndrome. In chronic illnesses, we can see clinical features of illnesses, and they can be cardiac, pulmonary, hepatic, or renal diseases. In gastroesophageal reflux disease, apnea, vomiting, and may be present, and this is present in the babies commonly with the neurodevelopmental problems. In cystic fibrosis, diarrhea, and chest infections history is present. In celiac disease, it starts when gluten is introduced in diet during the weaning, which is commonly at the 5th or 6th month, and there may be diarrhea, irritability, and proximal muscle wasting. In immunodeficiency, recurrent, persistent, or atypical infections are present, and in genetic syndromes, low birth weight is common and dysmorphic features are present. Here are two most common nutritional problems associated with the failure to thrive, which are Rasmus and Kwashiorkor, and clinical findings associated with them are: on general inspection, children suffering from the marasmus are irritable on handling, alert followed by the listlessness, loose and wrinkled skin, muscle wasting particularly of the buttocks and thighs, growth retardation, hypotonic, pallor, edema never present, and skin and hair changes are absent. In Kwashiorkor general inspection, on general inspection we find lethargic, apathic, and irritable child with growth retardation, loss of muscle tissue but some subcutaneous fat is present, generalized edema, pallor, flanky paint, dermatitis is covered in covered areas with darkening of the skin in irritated areas. Depigmentation occurs after discoloration of these areas, and flag sign, which is alternating bands of light and normal colors, are present. Shiny and edematous skin is present, and poor wound healing, petechia and erosions are present. Vitals, when we check vitals, we find hypothermia, bradycardia, and hypotension in both of these diseases. Faces, when we talk about the faces in marasmus, we found simian faces in which face is shrunken and wizened due to the loss of the buccal pad of fat. But in Kwashiorkor, uh, moon-like face is present, dull and sparse brittle hair, alopecia, and broomstick eyelashes are present. Chest, on marasmus, on chest there may be a prominent rib cage. Abdomen is protuberant due to the hypotonic muscles with intestinal pattern visible in marasmus. In Kwashiorkor, abdomen is distended. There is hepatomegaly and ascites. And in marasmus, on extremities, tendon reflexes are diminished, and plantar reflexes may be absent in extreme cases. But in Kwashiorkor, extremities have pitting edema, including periorbital edema, and there is loss of knee and ankle reflexes. And this covers the complete examination and investigation and systemic investigation to find the cause of the failure to thrive of the children and to make a differential diagnosis.